Hello, and welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase with your hosts, Rita and Mel.
Hi guys, welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase. We're now in June.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like
6 months. Yeah, definitely.
halfway through the
2020 is
year.
halfway done now.
Sure, it's a year we'll remember.
Absolutely. And probably for some people a year they'd want to forget.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about this month, Rita?
Well, we've got a very interesting topic today.
Yep, it's all about our bodies. Not our bodies, but your bodies as well. Yeah, so we're speaking to Jordan Todd, who is a pain specialist coach based in Canada.
Yeah, and it's, again, I keep saying this, another inspirational, but I wouldn't say it's just inspirational. I say,
Informative.
yeah, you're going to get a lot of information from it.
We
So
definitely got a lot from it,
Yeah,
as we
yeah.
always do. But anyway, we're going to let you watch the interview with Jordan Todd. So,
see you soon. Bye.
today we have Jordan Todd. So Jordan is a coach specializing in pain management. Welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Here, I'm real happy to be here and be able to talk to your community a little bit and share what's going on. I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Okay. So, I mean, just going straight into it, Jordan, tell us a bit about yourself, your childhood and growing up in Western Canada. What has been your journey like from childhood?
Yeah, so yeah, like you mentioned, I grew up in Western Canada in British Columbia up here, and had a great childhood. You know, we lived in kind of a middle class type family. You know, the house and white picket fence, blue collar type thing, which was good. And then the big thing, the kind of focal point of my life was my athletic career. I was a hockey player growing up, and that's where pretty much all of my time and attention went to from as long as I can remember. I put on skates at about 3 years old and didn't take them off till I was 20.
Yeah.
And throughout the way there was obviously lots of things go on through school and through all that kind of stuff, but hockey was always kind of the main focus for me. And from there, I managed to make it to a fairly high level competitively there playing sports. But the big thing that it did for me was it got me into the health and fitness world.
Mm-hmm.
Around 11 or 12, I got exposed to a phenomenal strength and conditioning coach. He was actually a teacher at my middle school, and he got me into it. And that's really what, kind of changed my life there. It's like, as I went, further along in my hockey career, I always say I was never the best player. I was never the most talented, but man, did I work harder than everybody else. And I always showed up in the best shape possible. And that was my kind of thing. And I fell in love with lifting weights and just seeing what my body could physically do. And that's just kind of, what, one thing after another led to where I am today. And it's just pretty cool that, yeah, growing up, I always had the dream of playing in the NHL and being a professional hockey player and everything. And, obviously that didn't quite pan out, but I think it's actually working out way better than it ever could have. And I'm actually going to, have a much bigger impact on people in the world than I ever would have by, skating around, slapping a puck and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited how things turned out.
Definitely. And who's your favorite team in the NHL?
I'm a Calgary Flames fan. Yeah, for any hockey players out there, back in the Jerome McGill and Mika Kiprasov days, oh man, I got hooked ever since. So yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
So, I mean, we understand that during this time you riddled with quite a few injuries, and one of them, the most prominent one being the hip injury. How did this affect your life in general, and obviously playing on the hockey team?
Yeah, so that was, kind of coming full circle to what I do now. That was what initially sparked it and makes it such a passionate spot for me now. It was probably around 15 years old that it really started to become an issue, and I started to notice it. And essentially, I just had this chronic pain in my hip, this pinching type feeling anytime I bent my leg, and it was just, it was always there. And for years from, basically 15 to 20, as I was still playing, I got worked on by our team therapist, by physios. I went and saw chiros, all the people, and no one was really able to help me. There was the short-term relief sometimes, but it never really provided any long-term help for me. And yeah, it was tough. Like, it obviously limited me on the ice in some ways. Like, you do what you do, you push through it. You're not gonna, it's not bad enough to stop. But the big thing is it just becomes so frustrating, and it just starts to kind of chip away at your identity a little bit, because you want to be someone who does hard things and push hard and not have to have these limits. And then when that gets put on you and you're basically told by these people that, well, this is just something you have to deal with, it really frustrates you, and then you believe it. And because of that, you don't have any hope for this getting better. And then, now you have to just start letting things kind of fall by the wayside. Like, I was still playing hockey, but I couldn't really squat in the gym, which is something I love. Yeah. And just not being able to do that really, really frustrated me. It was really hard on me from a mental standpoint, a physical standpoint, all the things. And I always felt like a burden on our trainer and the people I saw, because I knew it was frustrating for them too that it didn't get better. And so overall, it was just, it was something I dealt with for a long time. And the conventional methods that everyone was pointing me towards never really provided me the relief I was looking for. And so that's kind of what, inspired me to find another way, and ended up where I am today.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, obviously, when you're talking about the mental side of it, I mean, obviously, we forget that side of, and that impact of obviously feeling, I guess, weaker in that sense, and not being, as you said, not being able to do what you do to the full capacity. How did you deal with that? How did you rise above that? Did you actually seek help, or was it something that you just went internal and just said, no, I'm going to get past this? How did you deal with it?
Yeah, later on, and then now I've definitely done lots of deep, mental development. I've gotten some help with this kind of stuff in the last couple years since it's been done. And so I've done kind of a lot of, reflection on that time, because in the moment I was basically just pushing through it. And I was pushing through it and not really recognizing the mental effects that it had on me. Because there was, it's one piece of the puzzle. There were other things going on that were very difficult to deal with also, but it was one piece. And so because of that, looking back and now realizing how much it did have an effect on me from, a mental, side of things, just because it is about more than the pain. It's about what it does to you and what it kind of causes your life to be like. That's what makes me passionate about those types of things with the people I work with now. Because, I understand that someone who I work with now who has shoulder pain, it isn't about the shoulder pain. It's about what that causes them to not be able to do, and what that makes them feel about themselves and the stories they're now creating. And so, having that reflection to be able to look back on that is incredibly valuable now, just to understand what people I'm working with now are dealing with, and the kind of problems they're facing too.
Yeah, absolutely. So following on from that, again, when did you make that decision to say, right, I've helped myself, and now I'm going to help others that are going through that similar situation?
Yeah. So again, I basically, it's like the thing that helped me, ironically, wasn't really much to do with my hip. Like, basically I had some ankle dysfunction and I had a big strength imbalance, and working with a coach myself, I learned how to take care of this. And then it opened my eyes to the fact that there is hope. There is another way, that was kind of the start of it. And then from there, essentially I was coaching CrossFit at the time. So I was coaching fitness in a gym. That's what I did a little bit. There was a little crossover of my last year of hockey. And then immediately following that, I was a full-time kind of fitness coach. And it was really frustrating for me, because I was seeing people in the gym who were dealing with these issues. They would talk about the back pain they had or the knee pain they had, and they would go to the physio or the chiropractor and come back, and then they were still in pain.
Yeah.
And they were going through that same kind of roller coaster that I was. And it was frustrating for me as a coach, because I'm like, I don't really know what to do to help you, but I hate seeing you like this. And it's like they would ask for help, and I would give them a little Band-Aid or something, and it didn't really solve the problem for real. And I still remember there was one woman who, she ended up being my first real client. Seeing her, she ended up having to take basically once a month, she'd have to take at least a week off of the gym. And that was, and she was just an amazing person, just a giant, ball of sunshine in the gym. And I loved having her there. So even from like a selfish perspective, I hated when she wasn't in the gym. Yeah. And so there was a course from the people who actually helped me that teach coaches to help other people. And that was kind of the moment where it's like, yes, I have to do this. This is kind of what's calling me right in this moment. So I did that, took my, kind of formal education around this stuff. And that was, a little over 2 years ago now. And basically ever since, it's just been kind of going into the weeds about it and obsessing, putting, all my energy into getting as good as I possibly can at solving this problem for people. So essentially it was just, seeing other people dealing with this issue and realizing there's a need for it. And, if I want to help people not go through the same thing I did, then, it's now my duty, it's my responsibility to these people to be able to help them. And so it kind of went from there. And then that's kind of the natural organic progression that it built from.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, so good.
So tell us about this templated corrective exercise that you experienced. What exactly is that? Because we've never heard of it. So.
Yeah. And so the beauty of it is that really nothing is templated. And, the dysfunctions that can lead, it's essentially, you need to figure out the root cause that is driving this symptom. And so for me, dealing with my hip issue, there are people who are dealing with very similar issues for a different reason. And that's where, through assessment processes where we assess range of motion, we assess strength, as well as different lifestyle factors and the way that you're recovering versus how much you're actually working. We can figure out what might be driving these symptoms. And then because of that, I can now build a plan directly to attack those things to bring our bodies back into balance. And so, people talk all the time about being out of alignment, and that's why you need, say an adjustment or something like that. But there's a reason why your body got out of alignment in the first place. And if you don't address that, then now all of a sudden you're going to need to get adjusted for the rest of your life. And that's no fun. We're not looking for that. We're looking for the forever fix that you can feel good and then stop needing to address this symptom forever.
Yeah. Would you say that there's a common theme in the reason for particular where people get, that misalignment, or does it vary from person to person?
Yeah, it definitely varies person to person. And it kind of depends on the dysfunction, like a lot of back pain tends to come from, weakness in the hips and in lacking range of motion in the hips. As well as different bracing mechanics and people not being, super familiar with practicing those type of things. Like I said, the two main physical ones are just range of motion limitations, meaning like someone can't get into a position, their joint doesn't move properly, or they're not strong enough, which is actually my favorite one to talk about because everyone stretches, but very few people think that they need to get stronger to get rid of their pain and their issues and stuff. So that's kind of my, one of my favorite things to talk about or bring to light because not many people see it that way.
Yeah. And I think as women as well, there's this fear of weight training. I'm going to get bulky, but actually you need that to strengthen your muscles. So.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And also even in terms of your abdomen as well, like you need to strengthen that, otherwise your lower back is weaker and, you can get like really bad pain if you're not strengthening your abdomen. So there's a lot of things that we do really need to focus on and strengthen up. Yeah, awesome. And that was actually one of the points I wanted to bring up. So I saw that post on your Instagram where you mentioned about it's not just about stretching, it's about strengthening that. And that triggered off from this template corrective exercise. I really want to ask about that. So in terms of that, are you able to go into that sort of science behind the strengthening as well as just stretching?
Definitely. Yeah. And so that's why the first thing I do with every person that I work with is run through a movement screen. And so the movement screen assesses your body joint by joint to see if you have full range of motion compared to an objective standard. And so if your joint can move through the full range of motion, then what that's saying is that you don't need to be stretching that. because it has full range of motion. And so now if you're feeling, tightness in that joint that is full, what it's telling you is that stretching won't be the long-term solution. So a lot of the time people think tightness is directly related to a lack of range, which isn't always the case. And actually what more commonly in the post that you're referring to there, I was talking about that more commonly tightness is actually caused by weakness. And when I say that, like more often than not, it's caused by weakness than it is shortness. And so essentially when there is a lack of strength around a joint, a lack of strength or a strength balance issue, the body will try and find stability somewhere. And it either puts more tension on a certain tissue or muscle than normal, or the muscles essentially have to stay turned on. Like I'm oversimplifying a little bit here, but they have to stay turned on and engaged. And if you think about it, if a muscle is constantly contracting, it's going to feel tight, as if you're constantly, it's like if you're holding the top of a bicep curl, you hold your arm here for an hour, it's going to feel like it needs to get stretched. It doesn't mean it's short. And so the catch to that is if you're stretching something that is already full, you can actually kind of perpetuate the problem and end up making things worse. And so that's why the value of assessment is so valuable, because if you don't know what is causing this, then now all of a sudden you can't address it in the right way. So yeah, that's why I'm very, very passionate about strength being something that gives people power. And that's kind of the difference between, mobility and flexibility and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I'm feeling tight in my muscles, the first thing I'll go to, I need to do like a yoga stretch, or I need to just get my foam roller and, kind of roll it out. But yeah, and that's the first thing I always think of is, no, I've not stretched enough. But really, you speaking about this does actually resonate with me. So I'm thinking, no, it is true, because my left side is a lot weaker than my right side, and that's where I can feel pain a little bit more, and the areas that I really do need to think that I need to stretch rather than strengthen. So that validates that. Thank you. Yeah. Good insight there. I'm never going to think of my muscles the same again.
I know.
That's the idea. Yep.
Perfect.
In terms of a foam roller, is it important for those that do strength training and even yoga, is it important to put that into their regime on a regular basis?
I don't foam roll myself ever.
Okay.
And so foam rolling, if it feels good, go for it.
Okay.
If it feels good, go for it. But the main thing that foam rolling can do is it can transfer for fluids throughout your body. So if there's, things in your muscles, like your quads, to help flush them out a little bit, it can help transport some fluids a little bit. But as far as long-term changing the actual structure of the tissue, it's not going to happen. So realistically, it's like if you're, for example, say your quads were actually short, they needed to be lengthened. Foam rolling isn't going to give them any long-term length. And so just by saying that is that, you're going to foam roll today and it may feel a little bit better right now, but tomorrow it's going to go back to exactly how it felt before you foam rolled.
Yeah.
And so that's where I say, if it feels good, go for it. But just understand that you're not doing any permanent change to your muscles as you're going through and doing this.
Right. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Mind blown at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know. We're like taking it all in.
Yeah. Like reflecting. Okay. So in terms of some of your services that you offer, I know currently you're offering a free assessment, but what else do you offer as part of your package as a coach?
Yeah, so my main flagship offer is just my one-on-one coaching. And so that starts with the assessment that I'm currently offering for free to everybody. And from there, that's kind of the first piece. Like I say, that's what I start with for everybody. And then from there, it's into the full body testing. So we'll run through the strength testing. We'll check into some lifestyle factors that you're doing. And from there, it's building out the complete customized program to you to help you go from being in pain where you currently are to living pain-free, doing all the things you want, and then maintaining that for life. So again, it's building the plan to get you where you need to go, as well as teaching you everything along the way so that you don't need me forever. I always make the joke that it's the worst business model of all time, but we build self-reliance in you. The goal is to teach you that, how to do this myself. Like I have clients who told me they're going to work with me forever because there is value to having a coach. There's value to having someone, you know, hold you accountable to do the things you need to do, to keep you progressing and moving forward and not staying, you know, kind of stagnant and everything. But essentially, yeah, it's one-on-one coaching where we keep you accountable week to week. We build and progress. We have long-term structures built out, and it's to get you from A to B. It's to get you from where you are right now to the goal that you want. And the goal that I specialize in is getting.
Oops, I think we had a bit of a
Technical.
Oh,
Yeah.
you might have lost you for a sec. My bad. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I think we just lost the last few seconds of what you were just saying.
What was I saying? Yeah. Did you miss the last second there? Do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah,
Just about the goal.
Yeah, the goal.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. That you know, the whole purpose is, like I said, was like I was saying, getting you from A to B, getting you to the goal that you want. It isn't about the fancy X's and O's and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just the means to the end.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, getting you the result you want is what's most important. And the result that I am, you know, putting my heart and soul into getting for you is getting you rid of your pain for good, so that you can do the things you want, live the life that you're really looking for.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
How is it, so just going slightly off of that, how is it working out for you, especially in terms of COVID? Have you been able to kind of give virtual like coaching sessions? How has that worked for your business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually set up really, really well for that, because my business has been completely remote for a little over 6 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So I help people all over the world get rid of their pain for good anyway. Obviously, the gym is a tool that I use because, you know, I write exercise programs and stuff for people. That's one of the methods and stuff. So that was affected when gyms closed down.
Mm-hmm.
But the beauty, again, of having a one-on-one coach, someone who can customize to you, you know, I was able to, most people have something, you know, they may have a dumbbell or they have, you know, a couple bands or whatever. So I can use their tools to still get them that same result. And even a lot of clients don't have anything. And that still works. You know, there's ways to modify, make things challenging and progress them along with no equipment at all, completely from home. So the business model was set up really well for this kind of structure. And then it was just adapting, you know, like everybody's doing right now. It's adapting to make the best of what we have. Sure, is it as good as it could be when everything's open? No, but that's life, and that's what we're all dealing with right now. So, you know, all my clients are still making great progress, and it's still working really, really well. So it's been, you know, it hasn't hit us too hard. We've been making it work no matter what.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Awesome.
So I'm just thinking in terms of food, like obviously nutrition is important. What kind of role does that play in terms of pain? Because I know, for example, if you have turmeric, it can help with swelling and inflammation. So in terms of food, do you actually guide people in terms of what can help them with pain? And is that an important part of it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And so I always talk about this in terms of load versus capacity. And so this is something that basically when your body is in pain, you've put too much load on your body than you have the capacity to handle. And the way we eat, the nutrition that we're supplying ourselves with, is either adding load or, you know, kind of subtracting load, or essentially not contributing to that factor. And so, you know, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I don't have a formal background in that stuff. And so as far as like certain people will have foods that are inflammatory to them, that they have, you know, intolerances to, and that can definitely contribute to, you know, being inflamed and having your issues flare up. The main thing that I talk about with people is making sure that they're eating enough in the CrossFit space, in the high intensity fitness space. Under eating is actually quite a big issue for the amount of training volume that people are doing. You know, they're lifting heavy weights at, you know, incredibly high speeds and burning ridiculous amounts of calories, and then under eating because they, you know, want to look a certain way, they want to, you know, do a certain thing. And I get it because I've been in that spot myself, so I know what it's like. But your body needs to be in a place where it can heal. And to do that, you need to be actually supplying yourself with enough fuel, with enough food. So the nutrition does matter. It is something that we need to be supplying ourselves with good sources of carbohydrates. We need to be eating enough protein, balancing in the fat and everything. And like I say, just in the right quantities. So I'm not necessarily prescribing macros and telling them exactly what to eat, but it's definitely a resource to help them understand the impact that it has, and that they do need to be putting attention to this, and that managing the expectation that if you want to have a shredded six-pack and all that good stuff, then that may make it more difficult for your back to feel good. And that's just the expectation, because sometimes that is the reality.
Yeah. No, it's really good. That's a really good thing. Because even this week, actually, I've been experiencing certain headaches. And then it's like, well, actually, what's wrong? Why am I getting these headaches? I'm normally like absolutely fine. But then when I was looking at it, I realized I wasn't eating enough this week. Yeah. And then that was causing this basically like an imbalance. And then once I started thinking, no, actually, I need to make sure like if I'm eating more regularly or smaller meals frequently and stuff, I'm actually feeling a lot better now and a bit more myself. So so seeing that difference, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have just seen that in the space of a week. Whereas some people would go on for like ages not realizing that they've not had enough calories. So yeah, that's a really good point there.
Yeah. Most people go through their entire lives not realizing what good actually feels like.
Yeah.
And so they just think that's normal. And like I say, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do things. Like all diets, all ways of eating, they can work. But it's finding what works for you and then actually sticking to that, because being pain-free, feeling good, it requires, like being healthy requires a full spectrum approach. I can't give you a couple of exercises to do in the gym and have that disregard or counterbalance everything you do in the other 23 hours of the day. Yeah. So it comes, it really is about looking at all factors and taking them into account.
Yeah. And maybe not seeing carbohydrates as the devil, as many people. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say, we could go down all kinds of rabbit holes here, but yeah, definitely. Yeah. Carbohydrates are one of the most important things on the planet.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, no, that's really good. So, I mean, yeah, we're basically coming towards the end of our interview. Is there any special message that you've got out there for our viewers? Again, this is your platform now. You can sell yourself in this part.
Yeah, no, it's like one of the big myths is that, everyone always thinks they need something else. They need someone else to get rid of their pain for them. And that the only way to do that is to go see a doctor or any of these things. But, I just want everyone to understand that you already have everything you need to get rid of your pain for good and to feel the best you ever have. You already have it. Yes, guidance is incredibly valuable, but you don't need to rely on somebody else. And the first and most important thing you can do to get rid of your pain is to make the decision that you're done living with it. Because when you make that decision, now you will find a way. You will find a way to get rid of it and not live with it for good. Because there's so many people out there who are currently in a spot where they think, what I have can't be fixed. Yeah. This is just how I have to live. There is no hope for me. And the reality is I hold the belief myself that isn't true. That everyone can find a way to make the best of their situation. And even if, like there are people in circumstances, there are exceptions where some people, there may be things you have to live with. And so there may not always be a great choice, but there's always the best choice and figuring out how to optimize where you're currently at with what you have. So, and that all starts with the choice that this is something that you don't want to live with.
Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, this is kind of going a little bit off the topic, but what you said there about living with pain, it just reminds me. So we're great WWE fans. We recently saw an interview with The Undertaker, and Stone Cold was interviewing him. I don't know if you
yeah.
One of the things The Undertaker said was that he'll come do a match, and then for the rest of the year he's in pain. And that's just it. He's just accepted that he's in pain. And it's just that came to light when you were mentioning about, people just, some people just accept that they're in pain and probably won't do anything about it or, recognize that. So
yeah, and just on and on that touch too, if you don't mind me making one more quick point here. Basically, it's like that's something that I think is valuable to understand as well as managing the expectation. Because he, clearly loves or feels the need, whatever, to do that so badly that he's willing to put up with a year of pain for that moment. And that's totally awesome if you understand the expectation. That's essentially what I want everybody to get to. So, like for you, in my world of things, if you squat heavy every single day, your hips and your back are probably going to hurt.
Yeah.
If you love squatting that much that you just want to do that and you'll own that pain, then power to you. Like, I'm not against that. I'm just so pro understanding and consciously making decisions that I just want you to understand what the consequence is going to be. And then you're an adult, like you can make your choice.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you want to, if you don't want that consequence, now we need to have the conversation of, okay, what are we going to do about it? Yeah. And that may mean sacrificing, that may mean doing some things that you don't want to do or not doing some things you do. But that's kind of that's life when it comes to not dealing with the consequence. So it's just being realistic with things. So that's cool you mentioned that, because that's a big thing for sure.
Definitely.
So it's all about empowering yourself and just owning what you want,
making that decision.
And
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's a decision about how you want to live your life, and whether you want to choose something that's in line with what your end goal is or not. And then just being okay with that and accepting it.
Yeah, this is really inspirational.
Yeah, because it's like you're making that decision whether to stay in pain or not. And I guess we all do that in life as well, be it emotional pain as well as physical pain. You have a choice in both.
Exactly. It's not limited to just this. And that's why I think it's cool. If you can make a decision in one area, they tend to trickle over into others. Exactly. It becomes who you are, and it's how you live. And so, again, it's about more than just the pain. It's about who you are and how you choose to live your life.
Wow, definitely. I could ask more. I could have like a whole conversation about this. But yeah, so, I mean, again.
So where can our viewers go to find out more about your service, about you? Where's the best place?
Yeah, so the best place to find me where I'm most active is, like Mel mentioned, on my Instagram page is where I'm most active. It's just, it's Jordan Todd without the vowels. So it's JRDNTDD is my Instagram page. I'm in the process of building a new website, so it should be up by the time this is out. It'll just be jordantodd.ca. And I'll have all my stuff on there. But realistically, if you go to my Instagram page, it'll have links to all my things there. You'll be able to find me and find anything you need from that spot, and hear a little bit more what I'm about and what I got going on.
Great stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been such a good, half hour, talking to you again, #mind blown. It's, there's so much that I've learned today. Definitely both of us have been inspired, stuff that we're going to take on into our own fitness journeys as well. But yeah, definitely. So viewers out there, definitely book a session with Jordan Todd. Get to that free assessment and go through that program, because honestly, make that choice that you want to live a pain-free life. Thank you again for being on the show. Hey,
you're very welcome. I'm happy to be here. Like you said, it was a great conversation. This is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Okay, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hi guys, welcome back. So I know you got a lot from that interview, because I know I did.
Me too. It was knowledge, informative. It was, there was a lot in there. And we hope that you'll take it all on board and implement these new things that you've learnt about your body.
Yeah, I know I've definitely taken on a lot of information from this interview. But again, if you're going through pain and you want to manage it a lot better, don't forget to check Jordan Todd's website. Go in there, book in an assessment with him, and get on that road to being pain-free again. Again, you can follow him on Instagram at Jordan Todd without the vowels, as he said. And also you can visit his website, which is longgaincorrective.com. Okay, so we've got some news.
We sure have.
And it's very exciting.
Ooh.
Rita, do you want to do the honours?
We are not only going to have one show a month, but now we're going to have 2 shows a month. 2 shows
Two
a month
shows. Two
from
shows.
this month.
Yes, exactly. So, huge demand, which is absolutely amazing. We've got loads and loads of people that want to be interviewed. They want to share that journey with you. And it's just such a privilege and an honor to be able to interview the lineup that we have for practically the rest of this year. Again, which is why we had to do 2 months, 2 shows rather than 2 months. 2 shows a month.
Yeah, so that's 2 guests coming, talking about inspiring stuff, talking about their journey, and we're just so happy that we're managing to bring these inspirational people
To you.
so you can not only gain knowledge but also
Learn
gain
about
inspiration
them.
and just to trigger off living your dreams and just going for it.
Exactly. And also these are people that need to be heard as well, because again, this is their platform to tell you about them, and it's not just about understanding, oh, you know, that's music, that's film and whatever. No, it's about the people behind the movies, the music, the talent, the business, whatever it is. It's about you getting to know them, because we're all human and this is how we connect.
So, it's exciting. So from this month, we are bringing you 2 shows.
Yep.
So watch this space, and if you're not following us already, you need to follow us.
Exactly.
Mel, what's the social media?
So we've got at RIME Entertainment Official, okay, and we've also got at sisters_in_rhyme. And how do we spell rhyme? RIME. Okay, so make sure you follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and just keep interacting with us. We love the amount of comments and feedback that we get, and it's just amazing to know that our show is making a difference and that you're enjoying us as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So we will end now because
we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Busy sisters now.
Yeah.
So.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks, guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more RIME Entertainment Showcase.